I'm Brittany, this is Eddie, and welcome to Gay Watch, where we watch gay things. Today is City on the Edge of Forever, an episode that is beloved in the general fandom for several reasons, and an episode that is just as beloved in queer fandom for several different reasons. This episode is high up on basically everyone's list, so I'm going to prolong the inevitable as little as possible. We're going to get synced, and I'm going to hit play. Pull up the episode on any device you want, compare your episode's runtime with the runtime provided down in this video's description box, and make sure that they are identical or close to it. Pause the episode at 0 minutes, 0 seconds right at the beginning, and then I will give you a countdown that sounds like this. 3, 2, 1, play. And when I say play, you'll hit play. And now the countdown for real. 3, 2, 1, play. Oh, I'm almost certain that's bad. On top of... an update on anything would be nice. Oh, Sulu exploded. And now he's unconscious. There's something you don't do every day. The readings ain't neutral anymore. I wonder if that was a conscious reference to his Twilight Zone episode. Oh wow, he's unconscious, but his eyeshadow game is strong. That's right, Kirk. You lost that one. Oh, that's how that... Yeah. Now he's a lunatic. I'm guessing that was way too much. What was McCoy thinking about before this happened? That's a very specific paranoia that just got exacerbated to all hell. I was about to fast forward through the titles. That wouldn't have been good. You know, I didn't know that Edith Keeler was played by Joan Collins until like a couple of months ago, and my mind is still blown. I know Joan Collins from like the 90s to later, and 90s Joan Collins and 60s Joan Collins look like almost two entirely different people. Like maybe they were distantly related, but entirely different. But of course, now that I look at Edith, knowing that it's Joan Collins, I can't unsee it, but it's still blowing my fucking mind, because it's Joan Collins of all people. The like bitchy soap opera star. What? I thought it was an overdose type situation, yeah. I don't think that man is saying anything. We're all just a couple of karate chops away from unconsciousness. I know it's entirely unintended, but Spock bending over the sensor while Kirk is standing right there is still extremely satisfying. A wild McCoy just about Wang Chung'd this guy. I wonder if McCoy's explosion of paranoia was directed at space. Because he did go from zero to get me the fuck off this ship. And he is always worried about dying in space. I'm just saying. Yeah, and one of those ruins is extremely, extremely yonic. We're used to everything being phallic. Well, in general, but especially with this show. But this is, yeah, it's actually very effectively yonic because it's not as obvious as certain stalactites. And yet, you just get the feeling. Well, all right. Well, they are quite remarkable that way. Millions of miles away. Oops. Has he gotten paler? But like just on his face? They are very powerful. I mean, I just said that. With a male voice though, maybe to be less obvious. Quoi? Right. You know, I had some really great nickname for the Guardian of Forever in the commentary, but it was long. I cannot remember what it was. I know it ended with of time travel, which is not helpful and fairly obvious. This is the second or third time they've discovered a means of time travel. The eyebrow? The eyebrow! Oh, she's misting. Like, really, I'd be curious to know if this is a standard reaction to a massive overdose of whatever the hell that drug was. Or at the very least, the history of television. Oh, that's some butterfly effect shit. Oops. I mean, no strangely about it if you're watching time play out before you. I'm a writer and a fangirl. I don't know much about getting lost in other worlds. Oops. I mean, in his defense, it is best to jump in when it's wet. How exactly are they gonna jump in at the same time? Well, how did they jump in time? Oh, right, duh. Wow. Time travel 101. Good lord. That slow motion was nice. Ish. Whoops. At least not one that's under his command and currently in that orbit. That's how. Barbaric. Barbaric. Don't they land in the... Is it the 20s or the 30s? Smart to leave all the red shirts behind, even if two of them are Scotty and Uhura. That's almost exactly what I was about to say. Like, what other choice you got? You got any other Guardians back there? That's a good point, actually. It's kind of a sucky consolation prize, but you know, I get the logic. Uhura's eye makeup on point, by the way. 20s or 30s, right? Yeah? Yes. Ha! I was correct. Yeah. Cover the ear. I mean, you can't cover the clothes. I don't know why that arm on the arm, that hand on the arm gets me, but boy don't it. Spock. I mean, also I still maintain that Kirk didn't have to hold out his hand to stop Spock like that, at least not there. Like, Spock has never seen him before. Yeah. Yeah. Well spotted. Boyfriends. Only boyfriends. I'd about heard enough as well. You know, that's almost as good as multi-legged creature on your shoulder. That's right up there. You know, they've been here 2 minutes and they're sprinting from the law. Thoroughly. That is a low buttoned shirt there, Kirk. No. Right? You'd be going about a couple hundred years into the future. No, no, stop, stop. We were just in the middle of flirting. I cannot believe that's Joan fucking Collins. Honesty's one way to go. Face. Like, she gets her own music, obviously, and she gets the diffuser over her face in the close-ups that most women do. But the whole first seeing her moment isn't done the way it's usually done with Kirk's Dames of the Hour. And I would say it's because Kirk actually gives a shit about this Dame of the Hour, as opposed to everybody else where he had an ulterior motive. Yeah, thank you, Kirk. I also have basic decency when it comes to women. How? D- yeah. And so jealous Spock begins. Whew. Why do they both look so good in those jackets? Damn. Yeah, the emphasis in terms of Kirk being drawn to Edith really was on her ideas and her brain as opposed to her obvious, good looks. Which is just so interesting that they take such a different approach to Edith than they have up until now. Than they have with Kirk and women up until now. It's a little farther ahead than that. Nothing? He's really not happy about this situation. That's one way to keep our cover, Spock. What are they doing? Oh, okay. They're repairing I could not tell what they were doing. That was a quick sequence. I mean, ain't nothing like flirting your way into some tool usage. This shot alone, Spock is dead ass right in between them. Like, really, really. Yep. Emphasis on the always will. It's true. Again, that whorish button is unbuttoned on your shirt, sir. Uh-huh. She's curious. We're gonna keep this in mind. Okay. All right. We'll just store that. We'll just store that in the back of our heads for any future reference, say in the next episode. I cannot believe that's Joan fucking Collins. I'm fine. I'm fine. I really am. But wow. In case we missed the bold print, they're just gonna zoom in on that real quick. And like, I get that we all know that all of this is Spock's real concern for Kirk's situation. But listen, when it can also read so clearly as jealousy, can you blame us? No. I thought they were. Wait, hang on. I'm trying to connect things in my brain. But if she does something. If she lives, she does something good that's not supposed to happen? Right? As opposed to causing something disastrous? Oh. Huh. Uh-huh. Yeah. That's not the greatest option. We've been here for a second. Why? Who's this random guy? That's gotta be a weird ass sight for someone in 1930. McCoy, you got a little crazy on your face. I'd drop the milk too, frankly. That doesn't inspire much confidence, McCoy. That is a lovely dress. Honestly, the costuming department, whenever they have to do period pieces. That's Starfleet, ma'am. You just invented Starfleet. No kidding, I love that outfit. Sir, he has done nothing to you. I want you to just dial down the insanity just a little bit. Is the crazy gonna make you cry now? Or is that laughter? I think wow, that is an impressive amount of crazy. Oh, well, yeah, no, of course he's gonna try to steal from him. Great! Give the guy a phaser. Is he going to kill? He is. Oops. That would have been great if it had been his death that would have affected the world. It just keeps getting longer. Oy. Ooh, excuse me. Honestly, just Spock's face in this whole episode. It's just so heartbreaking. I mean, I really can't imagine watching someone who I was already basically in love with not just fall in love with somebody else, but fall in love with somebody else in this specific unpleasant context of you have to watch them fall in love and then you have to watch them grieve and then you have to like make them grieve because that's for the greater good of. It is just an unsatisfactory bitch of a situation. Also, I love that they're such good workers. She's like, that basement was totally clean and blah, blah, blah. Like, they have no problem doing menial labor. They have no ego about doing menial labor. So either Edith dies or Hitler wins. No, yeah. I mean, shit. After a couple of days. That's the good news. And like, yeah, he's known her for like 2 seconds, but that was like real common in media back then and through up to sometimes even now you get insta love. And this isn't even like the most egregious case of insta love. Oh, you finally sane? You're still not looking so good. Not quite. I didn't even realize for a second that that was a stealth. Classic line. She's gonna assume you're talking about a ship. A water ship. A water ship. Wow. Where are they? That's New York, right? That was one of the bridges in New York. I still find that unintentionally funny. I'm not entirely sure why. Spock's face sure isn't, though. Oy. Oh, God. It's about the pining. It's about the queer pining, tinged with jealousy. Not to mention, the reign of fascism. Also, I love how Spock is just very gently trying to explain to Kirk, anytime she could possibly die, you kind of have to let her die. A very forward-thinking friend who hears words like quadracene and just keeps on going. Yeah. Although, I must say, that's probably my favorite thing about Edith, aside from her, optimistic and prescient view of the future, is that she meets things that are weird and she finds it curious and she's just like, oh, okay, sure. And she just accepts it instead of reacting with fear like pretty much everybody else does. Except she's too curious for her own damn good. Yeah. Had to stop him, too. That's what really fucking hurts. He had to actually stop McCoy. Yeah, we gotta explain. We gotta explain a couple things to McCoy. Spock's face, Kirk's face. Nobody's happy at the end of this goddamn episode. With the possible exception of McCoy. Successful and thoroughly unhappy. Yeah. I think he's probably been put off a time travel here for a hot second. Also, I realize I'm probably a broken record about this, but I wish that there was fic that had them discussing this like a post-mortem, just like I usually do for most episodes, but for this one in particular would be really interesting given the very specific context and the jealousy and the pining that is going towards this grieving guy. And I just think that conversation would be fascinating. No pun intended. That was Sitting on the Edge of Forever. A pretty great episode. Crazy McCoy is always entertaining to watch. I will never get over that that's Joan fucking Collins. I will never get over that. This is one of those cases where reading queerness into something makes the story even more complex and takes it to an even more interesting place. Because you have the story as is, and that's already heartbreaking enough. But then adding Spock's angle to it in terms of being jealous of Edith and having these emotions coming to the forefront for him in a very unpleasant way that's different from the other unpleasant ways of when he feels like he's emoting too much. It just adds this interesting layer to everything that, to me, enriches the story in ways that you could not have gotten otherwise. And of course it makes the whole thing even more painful because now you have Kirk's heart has gotten put through the shredder and now he's grieving this woman. And then on the other end, you have Spock having all of these conflicting feelings because of course he feels for his friend who's put in this extremely difficult situation and he doesn't want to see his friend in pain, but also he's very much in love with the man and he also doesn't want to see him having romantic feelings for anybody. And so like jealousy and compassion and professional responsibility as well, all mixing around, and ain't nobody happy in this episode. Ain't nobody happy in this episode. That is it for this episode. Thank you so much for watching. I will be here next week with Operation Annihilate, and please remember to take care of yourself.